really hate to do battle of the struggles, but due to everything that happened at the Grammys last night, I feel like that's a topic that we got to talk about, especially during Black History Month, because two things can be true at once. These are the debates that I've had in school, other colleagues. Like, I've talked about this multiple times. So I'm like, I guess now it's kind of my time to shine. And of course, not coming from a place of judgment or, like I say, battle of the struggles, but too many times we try to lump the African American experience in with the immigrant struggle. And unfortunately, it's just not the same, though we do share the same oppressor. And that's something, of course, I want to mention first and foremost. The white man is oppressing us both, and they love watching us have these debates. They'd be like, yeah, just sit there and just fight each other. They're living for it. But one of the main vocal points that I'll always hear is always like, I came to this country with nothing. I came to this country with nothing, and then I built a great life for my family. I was able to open 12 businesses. I was able to put my kids through school. I was able to get X, Y, and Z. That's normally one of the main arguments that I hear from children whose parents are first generation immigrants or they're first generation immigrants. Of course, I always have to ask the important questions like, okay, what did your parents do in order to get you to this point? Like, how did you get here? And I hate to say it, some people, they'll literally look at me and be like, they worked hard. Yeah, I get that gist, but what else did they do? And that's unfortunately a conversation that I feel a lot of immigrants don't have with their children. They don't talk about the benefits that they also get for coming here. Because of course, I'm always asking the magical question, why y'all think most Black communities, the small businesses, the hair stores, let's just start with that, the drive-throughs, why do you think they're all immigrant ran and not really ran by us? Like, I'll just show y'all a picture. How about that? And I want you guys to sit here and look at this picture and tell me, which smoke shop do you think is Black owned? Like, really take a look and let me know in the comments. Why do you think you don't have drive-throughs and you don't have all these different ethnic hair stores in quote-unquote white communities? It's all by design. And that's the part that I feel like a lot of immigrant children are just not comprehending. They look at it as, oh, I just worked hard, or my parents just worked hard and that's why they got it. Like, no, everything is systemic racism in it. They're like, I'm not going to give these people loans, but I will give those people loans. You get what I'm saying? Because something that I'm always saying, especially in the Akron area, if you look at who runs majority, damn near all of the fucking drive-throughs in this areas and the smoke shops, guess what? They're immigrants, okay? And guess where the immigrants live? The immigrants, they don't live in the areas where they're working at. They're in the outskirts, they're in the suburbs, they're in the Barbertons, they're in the Talmadge, they're in the Stowe, they're in the Hudson. They don't live in the areas that they're working at. And why do you think that is? Because they made enough money to where they're like, I ain't gotta live in this community. Yeah, I'm gonna keep selling y'all drugs and alcohol. Yeah, I keep selling y'all bullshit ass food. Yeah, I keep fucking with y'all. But at the end of the day, me and my fucking people, we are taking this money and going to the suburbs, or guess what? I'm sending the money home, back to my country. How about that? Again, cannot be mad at the immigrants for that. They're just dealing with the hand they were dealt. Not about to be like, stop taking all these benefits away. But the issue that I do have with it is, don't look at us and be like, y'all just not working hard. Y'all just not doing what y'all supposed to. No, when you're low-key getting a semi-handout is what I'm going to say. And that right there is how institutionalized racism is passed down, because their thoughts are, we would rather give it to foreigners coming into this country than to give it to the Black community. That's not a coincidence, guys. And that's the main point that people need to understand. There's a complete different struggle when it comes to the immigrant struggle versus the African American struggle. And I just want to end on this point. African Americans built this country, okay? Natives to this land built this country. And again, that's a debate we can have a whole nother day, which some people got here on the boat and some people were already here. But at the end of the day, African Americans built this country. Did immigrants play a factor within the last, maybe I say 200 to 300 years? Most definitely, for sure. But who built the generalized foundation of the United States? African Americans. Don't forget that.